Hi you guys, today we're going to be talking about pay periods and hourly rates. We're just going to kind of be going over some examples just so I know that you guys know how to actually be able to calculate how much you're getting paid or figure out if you were offered a job, how much each paycheck would be. So we need to go over some key terms first, and just so you guys know how many paychecks you should be getting. So if you have if you're getting paid weekly, that's going to be 52 paychecks. If you are getting paid bi-weekly, that's going to be 26 paychecks. This is all for a year. If you're getting paid semi-monthly, that's twice per month, you're going to get 24 paychecks a year. If you are getting paid monthly, that's 12 paychecks per year. And then there's also direct deposit, which is when you guys can sign up, and hopefully a lot of you guys have this, so that your paycheck goes directly into your account. You don't have to worry about going to the bank. I used to not do that because I liked being able to make sure my paychecks were correct before they got deposited. You also have an hourly rate. Most of you know that you get paid per hour, so you know what your hourly rate is. And then you have regular hours, which are your full or part-time hours, and you're working mostly, they're 40 hours per week. The other term, so there's time and a half, which is overtime. This is typically over your 40 hours, depending on how much your job might pay you. They will either pay time and a half, which is, say you get paid $9 an hour, means you're going to get paid $9 plus the half, adding on another $4.50. So if you were to add that, so for the time and a half, you're actually getting paid $13.50 per hour if you were to work over those 40 hours of overtime or of your regular hours. Another job might also pay you double time, so you might get paid twice the amount of your pay. So if you were getting paid $9 for your regular hours up to 40, then you would end up getting paid $18 per hour of overtime. And then just to make sure you guys know that your gross pay is the amount paid before your taxes. Another one I'm just actually going to add on to here is your net pay, and this one is after taxes. Okay, so just to make sure, after taxes. So this is typically what you see goes in the bank. However, the gross pay is what most jobs actually reference. All right, so let's go over some examples here. If we have Christina that is getting paid bi-weekly and her annual salary is the $37,000, we want to figure out what her bi-weekly salary is actually going to be, and we're going to round to the nearest cent. So we have, if she's getting paid $37,000 and she's getting paid bi-weekly, so if we look back at, hopefully you guys wrote these down, so bi-weekly she's getting paid 26 times in that 1 year. So we are going to now divide by 26, and we want to see how much she is actually getting paid each of those paychecks. So when we do 37,000 divided by 26, we get $1,423, and we're going to round to the nearest cent of 0.8. And then if we want to make that as a generalization so that you guys are able to figure out how much you guys are getting paid, this generalization of Carlos earning X dollars bi-weekly, that means you're going to express his annual salary algebraically. So bi-weekly we had the paychecks, and we're going to figure out how many times the amount of dollars he's actually getting paid. So that's just our general formula. You guys can write it also like this, and then you can always just change this number. So if we are getting paid monthly, then it'd be 12 times X, and so on. For our second example here, we're going to talk about Manny, who's getting paid semi-monthly. So semi-monthly means he's getting paid twice a month, which there's 12 months in 1 year, but that means there's going to be 24 paychecks that he's receiving. And his salary is $1,239. So what is his annual salary? So we want to see, we're going to multiply it by his paycheck. So I have times 24. And he ended up actually getting $29,736 for that 1 year of his paycheck. So that's actually Manny's salary. So let's write a complete sentence for that. Okay, and so our complete sentence says Manny's annual salary is $29,736. In order to generalize that, so Alex is paid semi-monthly, and his annual salary is Y dollars. And we want to express his semi-monthly salary algebraically. So we would have Y as our dollars, and we're going to divide by the 24. And you guys would do this anyways. If you got a salary, you would just divide it by the amount of times you get paid and see how much each paycheck's going to be. Okay, so we're going to now talk about Janice's situation here. So Janice actually earns $10 per hour, and if her regular hours are 40 hours per week, and she receives a time and a half overtime, so she's getting paid that 1.5 overtime, we're going to try and find her total pay for a week in which she works 45 hours. So our steps here, step one, we're going to find her regular pay for the number of hours. So we know that she works 40 hours. We're going to multiply it by the $10 she makes per hour. So she makes $400 just on her regular hours of 40 hours a week. Then we're going to subtract the number of hours that she actually worked so we can see. So if we know that she worked 45 hours, we're going to subtract it from the 40 hours of regular pay that she worked, so we know that she got 5 hours of overtime. Now, her overtime rate is 1.5 times the hourly rate. So we have our her hourly rate, which is 10, and we are going to multiply that by 1.5 because this is how much she'll be making overtime. So she's now going to be making $15 on her overtime hours. So now we're going to multiply the overtime hours rate by the number of overtime hours to find her overtime pay. So that's these two sections right here that we are going to now be multiplying. So these are her overtime wages and her overtime hours. So we have her overtime wages, and it's going to be multiplied by the amount of hours that she got, and now we have 75 extra dollars that she made in overtime. So now we're going to figure out her total pay, like we said. So she has her $400 of her regular hours, and now we're just going to add the overtime hours just to make sure how much she got paid, which is $475 that she ended up making for her total week of pay. Okay, so that says our sentence right there. Janice earned $425 for her 45 hours of work. Now we're going to go to our next example. So we just want to generalize these values here. So if we have Roger that we're talking about first, Roger regularly works H hours per week at a rate of D dollars per hour. So we're going to express his salary generally as an algebraic expression again. And so when he works his 52, the 52 is he's getting paid for his hours that he's getting paid per week. So there's 52 weeks in a year. So we are now going to multiply that by H, which is his hours, and then we're going to multiply it by the dollars he makes. So again, we just write this as 52 times H times D, and that's our general equation. And then if I want to also help out Mary Ann with her general equation, she earns Y dollars per hour regularly. Express her hourly overtime rate algebraically if she was paid time and a half. So what we did with that previous example, we just did 1.5 times however much she's actually getting paid for her hourly wage. Those are the general formulas, you guys. So again, you guys can use these to determine how often you get paid, how much your salary is, and that's the reason why I'm showing you the general formulas, because I want you guys to be able to plug them in for your job in the future. So our last example that we have for you guys, Samantha worked her 40 regular hours last week, plus the 7 hours overtime and the time and a half at the time and a half rate. So her gross pay was $611.05, and what was her hourly rate? So now we're kind of working backwards. I did give you guys the formula here. So regular pay plus the overtime pay equals your total pay, which we did figure out from our previous example on this one. So that's how we figured out that. But now we're kind of working backwards. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to substitute stuff in. So we're going to write our 40 hours that she has. We're going to multiply it by the pay. Then we're going to add the 7 hours of overtime that she worked, and we're going to multiply it by the 1.5, however much her pay is. We're going to multiply it by the 1.5 because that's her overtime pay, and we know that she got paid the $611.05. So we're kind of working backwards. That is a 1 right there, you guys. So we are kind of working backwards, and we now need to simplify. So what we're going to simplify, we can't simplify anything else with this 40x. We are going to multiply the 7 times 1.5, which is 10.5, and then equals our $611.05. Oh, and this has an X on it, sorry. Okay, so then now we're going to combine like terms, which means that we combine the 40 with the 10 0.5, so we have 50.5x equals our $611.05. And then we're going to now simplify by dividing both sides by our 50.5, leaving us with $12.10. So here's our sentence again for you. Samantha's regular hourly rate is $12.10. All right, you guys, that's it for our set of notes today, and I will check in with you guys in class tomorrow. Thanks.